By the second quarter of the year 2020, virtually the entire world had gotten in grip of the COVID-19 nightmare. Lives were lost, economies were crippled. The rapid spread and deadly impact of COVID-19 on humanity dominated headlines all over the world. Uganda, like other countries grappling with the COVID-19 outbreak, imposed series of lockdown measures and social restrictions. These were packaged in form of guidelines and standard operating procedures for essential work and services.
The government has decided to suspend all public transport.
The challenge was in the interlink between essential and non-essential ones, as some seemed to depend on each other. In Uganda, sex work was not classified as an essential service, and the sex workers too felt the wrath of the COVID-19 lockdown. Evelyn Achiro is a sex worker operating in northern Uganda, city of Gulu.
Before COVID, life was not all that hard because the bars, the clubs, the streets, you could run around the town till dawn. Life was just easy. But now when COVID came in, we are just hearing, seeing in the WhatsApp, in the TVs about COVID. We never knew what was it exactly. We had it started from China. So when it came here, the reality came out. Our big man, as the president announced the lockdown, things started becoming hard at that time.
The experience of female sex workers living with HIV has also not been the best one. Kakasa Irene is the coordinator of Alliance of Women Advocating for Change in Eastern Uganda, town of Tororo.
I've lived with HIV for 15 years. Ever since I tested, it has been a big blow for women living with HIV at large. Immediately, they announced the lockdown of COVID-19. We started experiencing difficulties, challenges in receiving our drugs. Of course, the vehicles, transport was not there. Income of getting money to transport us to the health facilities, it was very hard. And even getting money to eat was also hard, especially those ones deep in the villages. Could we even miss their appointment dates?
My medication, when COVID had just started, my medication was still there. But when it got done, it was not easy. We walked from here, we reached some market in front there called Chokpato. The girl got tired. She could not move anymore. Had to carry her on my back. We moved a distance. I also got tired. We were struggling like that till we reached in the hospital. After reaching in the hospital, people were very many again. We took long. We started moving from the hospital. When we got the drugs to come back, it was like at 3. Again to reach home, it was very hard. So that was the biggest challenge. And being the young girl, she's ever falling sick, they cannot give me drugs for long. They have just been giving the drugs of one month only. So every month, have to be going back in the hospital. And that was the same challenges we have been facing.
When they announced the lockdown, there was no means of going to get the drugs. So I missed 3 weeks without taking a drug. So I called AWAC, and I think AWAC worked out and told me, go to the nearest health unit and get your drugs. I do that.
One of the major problems associated with COVID-19 restrictions was accessibility. The lack of public transport greatly affected the service delivery. The rapid assessment revealed that 80% had failed to access their ART and PrEP refills or clinical appointments due to lockdown and travel restrictions. Alliance of Women Advocating for Change and its partner organizations innovatively addressed the issue. Chomia McLean is the director of the alliance.
Some of the facilities were not based in their districts, like for example Amuria, they have to drive from Amuria to Soroti. But because of COVID, we had to negotiate with Ministry of Health and UNFP, and of course with the support of UN Women, to make sure that actually these partners who are providing services in Amuria to provide services or to do refills for the clients based in that district, no matter if they're not getting services from there, even without a transfer letter, because it was a time of crisis and that one nobody had control over it, and which actually happened.
COVID cost a lot in these young people because some of them were locked very far, and so they stopped coming for their medication. Most of them had to really, I would say majority, had to stop taking their medication. And with that, we are seeing high cases of high viral load again. Non-suppression is really hiking up in most of these facilities because I have co-peers in these other health facilities. When you interact with them, someone tells you, you know what, Landis, adolescents are really doing badly nowadays.
All the activities that were planned within the specific period where we had the lockdown, we could not implement them. So again, that one took us back a lot.
It was only mostly health department that was open, because that time we only had essential workers back at work here. Yet some of these girls needed the services of the community development officers, but all of us were at home. So we could not be able to access them, they could not be able to access us. So it becomes a challenge, it became a very big challenge.
Sex work was tagged to the spreading of COVID-19. Strict restrictions were put on the only remaining potential clients, the truck drivers. Life for sex workers was getting harder day after day. For a long time in Uganda, long-distance truck drivers have been associated to sex workers. Truck drivers are known to be the main clients of the sex workers. With COVID-19, this changed too.
The number of truckers started growing higher and higher. Now people were tagging that to now what? The female sex workers. That they are the ones who are going to bring COVID, because they are the direct clients of what? Of the truckers.
They don't want you to do what? To near the trailer. They'll call a DC what to take you to quarantine you.
So literally sex workers we are remaining with one option. One, if you are economically empowered and you had a setup or you had prepared yourself, then you had to earn from what you had put in place as your side income. If you didn't have any, the choice was you have to struggle, get a client, bring him home in your place. Some of those were found in place of work, like for example, you live in Masindi but you've been working in Bushia, they were caught in those lodges. So it was not very easy for many of the sex workers actually to cope and be able to manage throughout this COVID era.
The lodge were locked, where you could get customers, the clients, the streets. At 7, should not see you on the street. Life started becoming hard. You cannot even survive to eat. And the worst part of it all, like me, that was the time I lost my father.
The lack of income to sustain livelihoods ushered in friction amongst people at household and community levels. This in particular escalated the numbers in domestic violence at household level and stigma-driven violence at community level, especially towards known sex workers. Stigma, coupled with violence against suspected or identified sex workers in communities and at workplaces, was a big problem which needed undivided attention in prevention and support services.
The numbers of violence against women escalated. The numbers became so much because if you look at the Uganda police report of 2019, it's talking about 306 cases by the end of 2019. But imagine that only between January Up to June, here at the Central Police, we recorded 640 cases of gender-based violence. So you can imagine the number has more than doubled.
Like it was before the lockdown, when I got a man, I had worked some money from another person, but he ended up taking even that money that I got from another person. He went with it, and he also refused to pay me.
Security operatives too, including the police, used restrictions due to COVID-19 as an excuse to unleash violence towards sex workers purposely to get free sexual services and to extort money. A lot of offenses, some of which would be classified as capital offenses, have been committed against women identified or suspected to be sex workers.
Me, they got me when I'm standing in the road. The policeman came and he beat me, my leg, even people were like, what is the problem? That they know that I'm supposed to go and stand, bargaining myself in where? In the vehicle.
Police are very hard on us. They don't like us. They only think of maybe when one likes you after using you, that when you may be having a good moment or good time. But after you jump on the street, they start pointing at you. You see that she's a female sex worker, so I use her, blah, blah, so on. So, but we don't mind.
They usually complain a lot of being raped and then being forced to have unprotected sex, okay? Because maybe the client wants that and they have less power to negotiate, okay? And then physical violence is one of the most common.
One of our friends, even during this lockdown, she was hit on the head while coming back from work because of what she is. Just of recent, last month, 2 of the sex workers, their houses were burnt into ashes, because of what they are in the community.
Because the law criminalizes sex work, many people abuse sex workers with impunity. They neglect them. We've had men who come in as clients. At the end of the day, they end up to be in relationship with sex workers. They are fathering children with sex workers, and then they abscond from their responsibilities of being parents. So we have the cumulative weight of all that burden weighing on the shoulders of the sex worker. And you see sex worker who is fending for the children, but then she's arrested, the small money is taken away from her, she's beaten, she doesn't have things to feed the children, but also she's having a lot of trauma, she's having a lot of psychological distress.
You know, to be as a sex worker, and I got HIV. So I came to my father's land. So I was staying with my mother, and my mother died. So when the mother died, the clan chased me. He told me, you're a sex worker, HIV positive, you're useless, go away. And they grabbed my land. So people are seeing us like we are sinners. Like sex workers, people living with HIV, and we are dead bodies. In the mighty name of Jesus, although I'm HIV positive, although I'm a sex worker, but God, I know, I believe one day I will be somewhere.
Lack of proper and structured government social service related to children drives sex workers to work more than they should. Akelo Faida Novia is a single mother and a sex worker based in northern Uganda, town of Kitgum. She has a big heart.
The family I'm living with here, my family members from my father's side, they want to kick me out of this home because they don't like us, because we are girls. They need only boys to be staying here. So if I'm not here, even this family is not there, because children, if I'm out of town or I go somewhere, they don't even feel like they're comfortable in the family. And all the focus for my family members, they don't want to see these children living here. They want their lives to be ruled. If they take away the house, there's nowhere else I can keep them. Yes, and I really need more help, yeah, to support them and to make them grow and to make them also get education. Yeah.
This COVID has brought us, our children, to know what they're supposed to do, they don't know. Like now my kid, he tried to ask my sister that, Mama Kel has told me that my mom is a sex worker. First tell me, what is being a sex worker?
Our young people are facing gender-based violence, and I wouldn't say it is just general about domestic violence or what. There's even sexual gender-based violence, because you look at a young person who is really being sent to get married by their, I would say, their biological parents. Like, it pains so much. Someone tells you maybe I'm just going to visit a boyfriend, then mommy realizes and she was like, even I can't contain you anymore. I'm not economically, like I don't have money. So they end up chasing the girl to go to the boyfriend.
People are depressed. We can't deny that people are depressed, and my key populations actually, they suffer more. The clients are even fearing, some of the clients are fearing, so they really don't have money, and that makes them stressed, okay?
If you move around on the street here, you would be seeing some people talking to themselves, and you will be seeing many people who are now sick coming on the street. That one shows you that the problem really exists. And we have had issues here, reports from sub-counties, about people taking away their life. Suicide.
Nabulako kati neera singa si mukwano gwawe kunga nali ngenda gwa mu mazzi. Sina sente za loogi, abaana yawaka bambipinga bagala sente za kulya. Nze kennyini sikyafuna kiraaya nti ndikweraliikirira engeri gye ngenda okufunamu eddagala etolo nga ndabira ddala bizibu byereere.
So even if you feel like you want to know something or you want help, maybe counseling from someone, it was not easy to get that person. So for us, we were just surviving on your understanding.
During this COVID, we did a rapid assessment in 31 districts, and then we found out that 65% of the sex workers presented with depressive symptoms, while 50% said they were coping with the COVID, the violence, the stigma, the hunger. They were using substances, drugs and harmful substances, so which is really a big challenge and calls for integration of mental health services, but also social protection.
The other major problem was food. On top of all other services, women needed food. The rapid assessment indicated that 33% were no longer adhering ART and PrEP due to lack of food.
People are lacking food, like female sex workers. They don't have food. Even those are HIV positive. They fear to swallow drugs because they lack food. Even I missed yesterday because I was not having food. I feared because those drugs are strong. But it is not my like, but that fear.
One of our clients, she passed away. That was last month, but one. A young lady with also the kid, because there's no food and there's no energy, there's nothing completely, and the husband was not helping her.
The Alliance of Women Advocating for Change also engaged in distributing food items to their clients. AWAC also assisted the clients with cash to help cover some of their non-food requirements.
Because many people were struggling with adherence, people were falling off, were stopping to take their medication, retention became an issue, adherence was affected. So when TASO also had some of these challenges, they went back to negotiate with Global Fund. They also redirected a special fund for key populations, for women living with HIV and for young people living with HIV, and of course the people with disability. And specifically we had a cash transfer for almost 1,000 plus sex workers across the countries or the communities that we serve. And each of these sex workers received 185,000 Uganda shillings. They would receive this cash via mobile money on their phone numbers. So, and this happened to all the women. So this money was meant for this person either to use to buy food, or maybe to boost, if you have a small business, to do the small businesses, or maybe if you think you can buy piggery, you know, anything that you read, something of your choice. And it was not supposed to be accounted for to Global Fund for anything, but it was basically to support this person and to adhere with their treatment as well.
Yatusupportinga netugulira emmere netuwa sukali, netuwa obunga, netuwa ebijanjalo, on top of that neyongera n'okutuwa sente cash ng'eziweereza ku ssimu zaffe.
Awaka yanunula nenunula omwana wange yali amanyiridde omugaati nga tegukyali mu kabadi. Nagula obuwunga kilozi 4, nengula ebijanjalo kilozi 10.
Naye sente ezo bazifuna zogula emmere. Tebagula mmere yokka. Bagamba tusogola mmere yokka, abamu batetenkanya okukolayo business obutonotono basigale nga bafuna ekyokulya.
I received 180. I went and bought kitenge 5 pieces at 25. Then had the money, I used it for liner and also my diet too.
I bought food and I bought some hens for future planning. And I grow a garden for planting cassava. And then I bought some clothes for selling. That's why I'm still alive. I thank our UN women for the support.
Yeah, then we had UKPC, also UKPC and Sexual Minority Uganda, which also secured the funding from OHI, and they also did the same for sex workers who are experiencing shelter challenges. They were able actually to get a shelter temporarily, especially for those who were locked up in the lodges. So they would call through our toll-free line, and when we assess that indeed this person needs this support, definitely we would pay rent for them, and they are able to go through for 3 months at least. They were able to transition throughout that period.
During this COVID-19, we were not able to go to the hospitals because there were no transport. But now we have got a bicycle. Now transport is easy. We are able to get our drugs. We are able to take our drugs in time.
We had to negotiate, have discussion with, for example, our partners, specifically UN Women, which also internally sat with their team and thought of actually supporting, especially the rural women in those deferred districts, which are in the Karamoja region, Teso region, the northern region, central, to make sure that they access their medication. And what they did was actually they procured bicycles through our lead partner, who is ICW, International Community of Women Living with HIV, and we got bicycles around 50 plus, and specifically each partner within the consortium, AWAC, UNIPA is Uganda Network Young People Living with HIV, ICW, received bicycles. But for AWAC specifically, we received 20 bicycles to go to 6 districts that we are operating in, and each district was entitled for 3 bicycles. And these 3 bicycles were meant to be distributed to the peers or the grassroots women champions that we trained under the Swashi project before COVID. And these were the people that were given bicycles to be able to accelerate the service delivery.
It is making my work to be easier. When I'm sick or I'm out, any problem, I can give any member to say that take this drug to such a person. So it is good now. They've given us those bicycles in the right time.
Obugaali buno baleeta obugaali 3 nga kamu kange as a coordinator under worker for Tororo district, and female sex worker for Tororo district, and younger woman living with HIV for Tororo district. and a work. Nga bugaali buno bwali bwa kukola ki? Kutuyambako okudeliveringirako eddagala eri bannaffe abatalina transport ebaleta ku facilities.
So we are now getting a drug anytime. You can even go to Soroti riding our bicycle and carrying what? The drugs. So members are very happy. I can go to the hospital, I pick drugs, then I tell them that you come to my house, I give the drugs.
You know, with the disclosing the status, very many people, they don't want their status. They don't want to disclose. So we help them. We are like their caretaker. Me, myself, I'm like their caretaker. I goes in the hospital, I pick their drugs, I goes and distribute. Very many. And there are also some young children. Their mothers don't care about picking their drugs. I also make sure I do that follow-up. If it means me going to pick, I go and pick. If it means me doing the follow-up, seeing the way they are taking their drugs, I also do that. So I thank their work and UN Women a lot for giving us the bicycle. They have made my movement very easy. God should bless them a lot.
Then 41 districts did not get the bicycles, and they faced a lot of challenges of accessing their drugs. And actually it's a need, because now the 6 districts which got the bicycles, we are giving to the coordinators, the sexual coordinator, younger positive coordinator, and women living with HIV coordinator. And now it's a big gap for us as our work. That other districts do not get those bicycles, and yet they also need to support others to adhere to do refills for the HIV services.
As a district, we have a number of programs. We have programs that are geared towards supporting or empowering women, like Uganda Women Entrepreneurship Programs. Here we mobilize women into groups of about 5 to 15, depending on the number, and we take them through the whole process of selecting the enterprises that they can be able to do better. And we have seen a number of women engaged you find them in poultry keeping, piggery, they are there. You get them in restaurant, catering, you get them in produce. But of course now with the produce, markets are closed, but they are doing a number of activities just to try to sustain themselves. So women are engaged in those activities under the WEB program.
The support I got from the local government, they gave me the beehives, and they gave me the goats, 3 goats, 5 hens, and they gave us to start saving group. When the lockdown was not started, we started to save. Yes, even they gave us the eggplant. That's where I'm defending right now.
We need to have an alternative, source of income. Probably we can talk about quick businesses that we can see them have quick returns. You see, projects that can take say like a week or 2, and then you see somebody start earning. You see.
So there are so many ventures these people can go into to see that they change their life, and if they can leave their previous business, I think also that is better, because this is a new normal, as the president has said. So we need to catch up with a new lifestyle and new everything, because what if COVID is here to stay forever? Definitely that business, it has to die now, and you move on with another business. So we intend to sensitize them also, to give them that awareness raising about all this government programming, so that tomorrow they can be able to put food in the table.
This Nini, we are looking at if our can give us some income generating activities that could make us also survive, because this COVID-19 has really given us a lesson that anytime there's an emergency. So if you are not sustainable in any other activities, you are really there to suffer.
Singa nfuna ekyokukola nga bwe mbanyonyodde nti zenna akawuka ka mukenenya ate batugamba obulwadde bwa covid obwe bwa bwakuteko omuntu alina akawuka ka mukenenya bumuyisa bubi nnyo kyandibadde kintaasa.
We divide ourselves, we go for this what? Vocational skills. Like if we could get like the machines, we could get something like salon, we'll divide ourselves according to interest of someone. If you feel like you go for tailoring, I myself a volunteer to teach them. Then there's also another one. She also volunteer that if those one who are interested in tailoring, in hairdressing, she could help them have.
We want our work to help us to open for us what? A hotel. To empower us, to give us some support.
Even farming, we can do. Can even buy for us bulls, even 4 of them. We can plow as a group, and then we plant our seeds, then we sell.
Actually, with this COVID-19, what I've been doing most is digging. Yeah, even some of my girls, female sex workers, I call them when they are not busy. We go to my farm, we go and dig. Yeah, digging was the only priority for this COVID-19. Actually, I plant simsim of 5 acres, and then sweet potatoes 1 acre. You can even see it's next behind you, and then beans 2 acres. I'm still planning more like in 2 weeks' time. I want to put green vegetable. It's called ball because there are still more rain.
As president say that my granddaughters, don't. So I try to do what? I try to buy some clothes, then I sell. But the problem with the police all the time, 9. Will can even take some clothes and you remain with some few. As for now we are talking, we have like 1 million fish, I'm selling tomatoes. So now when you see me like this, my life, I'm trying, I'm selling some charcoal, tomatoes, 1 million fish, like that.
So I tried to lay bricks because I really had a plan that by this time it would be done with school and even volunteering. I would volunteer and maybe I'll get us something. And even the pig, yes.
I also have a small business, but that business I pick loan. Okay? So I get loan, and you know once you're in a loan, you're under a very serious pressure. Because now if without that small business, I would not be surviving, or I would not be looking like this with this COVID-19. So if these UN women, their work and other organizations empower us with the economy, we shall stand on our own, more so me and others. I know there are others who are also struggling, fighting, and they can make it with the business.
Going forward, what should be continued is that, one, we would like as much as possible that the surveillance team and the response team still ups to its game to ensure that, one, we reduce on the cases of COVID-19 so that in the near future, people should be able to live normal lives.
And then we're also trying to teach them on the vigilance as far as COVID-19 is concerned, okay? Because, you know, some are exposed to many clients, okay? Many clients. So you have to be vigilant and really see some obvious symptoms, okay? When you see some obvious symptoms, even if it is your birthday, you have nothing, you can suspend with such a what? With such a client, yes. And then we continue building capacity of the health workers, and we continue advocating through the leaders, especially of the district.
We will still engage them in appreciating our government initiatives, because believe you me, through these government initiatives, life can be better. Okay, you can still see to it that you can generate some small income that is adequate, that can enable you meet your basic needs, and that's what we all need in life.
Since COVID-19 has come to stay, I would really wish the different movements to really see a way of empowering young people to be really resilient, because it is really something that most of our young people are lagging behind in. Some of them really fear situations that are hard, and they feel like should just end in that very way. And then I would really encourage partners to help in developing peer support groups in these various facilities, because when a peer meets a peer, there is a way they become strong. Not just one-on-one peer-to-peer counseling, but a peer support group where they come, they have fun, they always dance, they do this and that. And if that is really seen as something important, it would work.
We need to hold hands, to work together in supporting the KPs or the marginalized groups. Because these are part of, members of the society that we are born with, we are going to live with, okay, in the same environment, okay? And whichever challenge these people have, you'll also get them. You can get them directly or indirectly. So there is nothing or saying that you just stigmatize or marginalize the group of people who are getting the same services you are supposed to get, okay? You share actually similar things. Now, let me ask you, we keep on talking, people keep on talking, I don't know about the key population, the sex workers, who are the clients? Are they not the general population? They are. So now, if you know you're a client and you don't want to protect that person, then I think you are committing suicide.
Sex workers face disproportionate burden of human rights violations, HIV risks, but also systemic exclusion. So we call upon other stakeholders to really support the campaign of DCRIM, but also to challenge systemic exclusion, to have sex workers included in the social protection system of the country, and to have integration of mental health, sexual reproductive health, HIV and GBV programming, not to provide services in silos, because if you provide services in silos, the outcomes are not really realized.
Sex workers are mothers, and they are they are women who cater for their children. So government should recognize them as women, and they need DCRIM, because due to the violence, GBV, being arrested all the time, they cannot do their work as they can do it.
My humble request to NGOs and government, let them also see us as people. It was not our wish to get HIV or to become a sex worker.
Our goal is to make sure we live in a society where we are free from stigma, discrimination, and our sexual reproductive health rights are being respected.
Again, I want to sincerely thank our work as a partner, UN Women, and all other partners within the district that have really supported the district right from the time we had COVID, even before COVID. They have been with us. The time of COVID, they are with us. Almost now post-COVID, they are with us. And we really want to thank them so much.
Thank you so much, our partners, UN Women, UNFPA, UNAIDS, PEPFAR, CDC partners, USAID partners. We thank really TESO Global Fund, NAFUFANO, ICW, and literally everybody who has supported, specifically not forgetting Billy Pike, USAID Washington, and of course the crew, that is East African Visual Arts Well done for documenting this process.
As Uganda gradually gets used to living with COVID-19, the issue of human rights for sex workers has to be addressed immediately. It is also time for joint effort to assist and uplift each other.
Africa, hey mama.